Hi guys, thank you for stopping by. My name is Satini. Today we're doing a different type of video. In the light of it being a brand new year, Happy New Year to you and your family, I wanted to introduce myself. I feel like we are due for an introduction. When I started my channel, I had 50 subscribers or 100 subscribers for a very long time. But in the last 2 years, my channel has picked up a lot, and 5,200 of you have found my content kind of interesting, that you've decided to stick around and subscribe. And I know a lot of times when I do my videos, I usually just jump into the topic. I don't usually introduce myself. So I was like, you know what? This is the time in the new year. Let me introduce myself. To make this a little bit interesting, why don't we make this a two-way conversation? I will introduce myself. If you're comfortable, why don't you introduce yourself in the comments section as well? Just tell me your name and tell me where you're watching from. My name is Satini. I live in Ireland with my family. I live with my husband and my 2 kids. I am originally from Zimbabwe and I am 35 years old. So on my channel, you would find videos about my life here in Ireland. You'll find a lot of vlogs about my life here in Ireland. You will find videos about my job as a healthcare assistant. I've worked as a healthcare assistant and I absolutely loved it. And I've done videos about interview questions that you can expect in a healthcare assistant interview and other healthcare assistant related videos. I also do a lot of immigration videos. However, I am not an immigration expert. So if you're looking for advice, for example, on which visa you should apply for to come here to Ireland, then I wouldn't be the best person to assist with that. But I would be a person who would post about visas. For example, if there's a new visa that has been introduced in Ireland that a lot of people don't know about, or a visa that a lot of people may know about and I find interesting and want to talk about, I would talk about that. And that doesn't limit to Ireland. I would talk about visas for other countries around the EU. I would also talk about visas that come in place or that are in place in the UK, since after Brexit they left the EU. So those are kind of the visas that I would talk about. In the spirit of the new year, where everybody is setting these resolutions, I wanted to talk about some of my achievements that I achieved in 2024. One of my biggest achievements is getting my Irish citizenship. Officially, as of the 10th of June, I think it was, I officially became an Irish citizen. And for somebody who was born in Europe or who was born in Ireland, you may not understand or you may not think that this is such a big deal. But for me, this was an astonishing accomplishment. And officially getting my Irish passport was something that I'm immensely proud of. After I got my Irish passport, I wanted to test it out. I wanted to see that, did I definitely get an Irish passport? So I took my Irish passport on a little flight and I visited Portugal for the first time. So I went on my solo trip to Portugal and it was an amazing trip. If you want to check that out, I will link that video in the description box, or you can find it in some of the recent videos on my channel. But talking about that leads me to my second biggest achievement, and that was going on my first solo trip. Growing up, we had never really traveled for leisure. We had always traveled for work or for school, for things like that. And I'd never been outside of my country's borders. Being able to travel for leisure, being able to travel not for any reason, just to go and chill on the beach and be in a different country was a huge achievement for me. I was brought to tears a lot on this trip, but I had so much fun on that trip. If you're interested in watching the video, I'll link it down below. I have to warn you though that it's not a typical travel vlog. So if you're interested in those travel vlogs where they've amazing footage, where there's a lot of drone footage, amazing angles, that might not be the video for you. But if you want to come with me to Portugal, you will definitely enjoy it. I had so much fun filming that vlog. I got my Irish license in 2024. I think that is the top of my highest achievements in 2024. I got my Irish driving license on my 3rd try. So I went for a total of 3 times and I got it on the 3rd try. I did film what it was like, or how I felt like after the first driving test. I didn't film a video about the second one as I was so low after taking that test, but I did film the first time I went driving alone. So I actually filmed that, and it was a hilarious video. I will link it again below if that's something that you're interested in. But yeah, as of 2024, she is now a licensed Irish driver. Despite all the highs of 2024, all the accomplishments, all the achievements of 2024, I had some lows as well. My biggest low of 2024 was my mental health. Towards the end of November 2023, my mental health took a huge nosedive because of not something that was happening in my life at the time, but something that happened in the past. I'm not going to go into depth too much, as I do want to start the year on a positive note, and I don't want to get emotional and upset because of that. But my mental health took a plunge, and I know describing it now, it doesn't seem like it was a big deal, but guys, I struggled. I struggled immensely mentally. I got to a point where I was seeing a therapist. For the first couple of weeks, I was seeing the therapist weekly, and I ended up seeing them bi-weekly, and now I just see them once a month. And if you know, therapists are not cheap, but I was willing to pay that amount because things were not looking good. Things were not looking good. And mental health is something that is so hard to explain. I tried to reach out for help outside of a therapist, and it's so hard to explain to someone that I'm just not right up here. I'm really struggling up here. It's so hard, I think, especially as a person of color or as an African, you know, people are just like, get it together, you know, just snap out of it. But sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes we do need a little extra help. Me and my therapist, we worked a lot of issues, but I was still struggling. My turning point was actually reaching out to a life coach. This life coach was a little bit different. She did a challenge. It was a 30-day challenge. And this challenge centered me when it came to my faith. It centered me when it came to certain things that I was struggling with in life. Like, that challenge was absolutely amazing. The coach is called Tandega Sivia. This is not sponsored or anything. It's just something that was helpful for me, and it was so affordable. I think in rands it was 350 rands. I'm not 100% sure, which is like less than 20 euro. That's an amount that you can pay for the betterment of your health. It was 20 euro once off for those 30 days. And she does those challenges on WhatsApp, and then there's a Zoom call afterwards as well. So it's definitely something that you can consider if you struggled with, I wouldn't say if you struggled with mental health issues, but you feel like you need a life coach, if you feel like there's certain things in your life that you want to work with, I highly recommend her, and I will link her down below, as I said. Lastly, I wanted to discuss some of the things that you can expect from my little channel in 2025. Well, not so little anymore. There's 5,000 of you, and that's a lot of people. but you can expect more immigration content. I'm going to go back into filming more immigration content. You can expect a lot of vlogs. I should warn you that if you love aesthetically pleasing vlogs, this might not be the place for you. My vlogs are a real representation of my life. I come as I am. And they're not the most aesthetic vlogs, but I guarantee that you will enjoy them. You will enjoy getting to know me a little bit better. I'll also be filming a lot more travel content. Can I ask for a favor? Can I ask that you show my travel content lots of love? Like, if you enjoyed it, please leave me a comment, as that encourages me that you are enjoying my vlogs, and it kind of gives me that little boost of confidence that, I wasn't just running around, with the camera talking to myself. Somebody actually enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I hope we will spend the rest of 2025 together. I upload videos on Sundays. I don't want to say every Sunday. I do try for every Sunday, but I upload my videos on a Sunday. Bye-bye.